Welcome to this short video on creating SolidWorks templates. A SolidWorks template allows you to set default document properties such as unit of measure, dimensioning standards, view orientation, sketch planes, etc. What this means is that when you launch a new part or new assembly or new drawing, if you select a template, you can then have those settings for unit of measures, number of decimal places, ANSI versus ISO dimensioning standard pre-selected for you. It's a very simple process to create these templates, and we need to have them when we start doing top-down assembly modeling. So let's go through the process of creating a custom template. The first thing you need to do in creating a custom template is you need to have a folder where you're going to store those templates. In this case, I'm going to use a folder called My Templates, and I'm going to store that in my Documents folder. On the screen, you can see an example where I earlier created a folder called My Templates, and I had that stored on my Y drive at the college. But now that I'm working from my PC at home, I need to create a similar folder on my local PC. So the first thing I'm going to do is open or launch an Explorer window. I'm going to go to Documents for this PC, and then I'll move my mouse over to the side and I'll right click it and I'll go New, and I'll select Folder. And when I do that, a new folder gets created, as you can see. I'll then change that name to be My Template, and I'll now have this new empty folder on my local drive, and I can open that up, as we'll see in just a second, and there's no files in it, but I'll come back and use that in just a moment. So I've done step one, which is to create a custom folder for storing the templates that I'm going to create. The second step is to actually create the template files that you're going to use. In this case, you can see on the screen that I've identified the file extensions are different for part templates from assemblies and from drawings. Part templates are prt.dot, assembly are .asm.dot, and drawing templates, the file extension is .drw.dot. So anytime you see a file extension that ends in .dot, that should be a giveaway that that is a template file and not one where you want to create custom sketches, but it's one that you might use to preset the properties for that drawing part or assembly. So in order to create these custom part templates or assembly templates or drawing templates, the first thing you need to do is launch SolidWorks and then click New, just like you would click New for creating a new part, assembly, or drawing. Then, as you can see in step step three, you're going to select options and set the options for the custom settings that you want the template to enforce. And then after you do that, you'll save the template file using these extensions that you're seeing up on the middle part of the screen. And then after that, we just select that template as the first step in creating our new part. So let's go through that process. It's pretty painless and pretty easy to do. Of course, you can always stop the video and replay parts of it to watch how to do it more slowly if I'm going too fast for you. So the first thing to do is to create a brand new file where you're going to store things such as the number of decimal places, the drafting standard, etc. So in this case, let's do one where we create a template for parts with units to 3 places in millimeters, and the dimensioning standard we want to be ANSI. Okay, so in order to do that, what we have to do is first go to Launch SolidWorks. Luckily, I already have that, so we don't have to wait for it to start up. Then we can go to the New, either by clicking New icon or going to File, New, and then the splash screen appears, and it might look like this, which is the advanced splash screen, or it might look like this, depending on how you've got your version of SolidWorks configured. It doesn't matter. In this case, We're creating a template for parts. So we'll click Part, we'll click OK. And after a few seconds, SolidWorks will open a blank part screen for you. We're going to now go up to Options. We're going to select Options. We then need to make sure we select Document Properties. We'll set our document properties. So in this case, we wanted our unit system to be millimeters, so that's already pre-selected for us. We were lucky in that regard. But our number of decimal places is at the default of 2, so we want to now change that to be 3. So we're going to go down and select our various ones. Oops, I'm having trouble with this one for angles, but I got that. And then length, we also want to make 3 decimal places. So we'll click OK. Oh, I clicked OK a little too quickly. I shouldn't have done that. I forgot to tell it I wanted to make this an ANSI, not an ISO-oriented drafting standard document. So I select ANSI as well. Double check our units again, make sure nothing got messed up on those. So both things look good. So now we'll say OK. At this point, we need to save this as a template that we can reuse. So we don't just click on the Save button, because that would save this as a part file. What we need to do is go to File, Save As. This is the tricky part. We have to go to the Save As Type portion of the screen and select Part Template. Once we've done that, we can see that it'll give us a name, and it's going to give us the default name of Part 1 dot PRT-DOT. So first thing we'll do is change that from we'll change the name from Part 1 to something more meaningful to us. And so if we go back to the PowerPoint slides, you'll see that what I suggest we do is maybe call this Part ANSI 123 MM, so that we know exactly which template this is. So I'm just going to be lazy and copy that name. Go back now to SolidWorks and put that in as the front part of the file name for the template. And again, it has the extension .prt.dot. I then can click Save, but before I click Save, I might as well put this in that folder that I said I wanted to put my templates into, which is found again in my Documents folder in the subfolder called My Templates. So I gotta get it into that. Oops, let me just thinking I want to edit that. Sorry. I just need to double click. Come on, my mouse doesn't seem to want to work right now. There we go. Now I can click Part ANSI 123 mm dot PRT-DOT will be going into, as we can see up here, the My Templates folder. If I had forgotten to do that, I could have always moved the file there. So we see everything worked well. At the top of the screen, the SolidWorks file name is being displayed for me. All that is good. But I don't want to start working in this. I don't want to start creating my sketches in the template file, because that would permanently put the sketches in that. So what I'm going to do is close that file by just clicking the X in the upper right hand corner. I will now select New, tell it I want to do a new part, but in this case I need to tell it to use that template. Now to get to the template, I have to not be on this splash page, but I have to click the Advanced button. When I click that, the page will change, and you'll see I have a special tab. In my case, there's 3 different tabs right now displayed, but one of them is that tab where I just put my custom template. I highlight that, and then you can see there's the file we just created is listed. If I'd rather look at that in one of the other formats, I can do that by clicking the buttons over on the right-hand side of the screen. Doesn't matter, there's only the one file because we only have one template at the moment. So I'll highlight it and then I'll click OK. Now the cool part is when it opens that file, all those properties that I just set are custom set for me. So number of decimal places is now going to be 3. Drafting standard is ANSI. Okay. So those things are really cool. And if I could even go and customize this template to have it not show me the views in the trimetric view, but have the default be something like front view. And if we have a few moments at the end, I can show you that as well. But in this case, we just have it set for the properties that we specified. 3 units in the decimal places, ANSI, and millimeter gram second. So we've got it set the way we want. Everything's looking good. So we've saved that. We're ready to now move on to the next part of this, which is really nothing more than saying, all right, we've got one template defined. Let's go and create other templates. And what I'll suggest you do for this video as sort of an assignment is create a total of 8 part templates, because we'll need those when we start working with top-down assembly modeling. So we did one just now for millimeter gram seconds as ANSI with 3 decimal places. Why don't you create another one with a similar name, but only for 2 decimal places? Then do one where it's not millimeters, but 3 decimal places, but inch, pound, seconds. Then 2 decimal places, inch, pound, seconds. Then do the 4 as ISO template files for both 2 and 3 decimal places in both millimeters as well as inch, pound, seconds. So again, at the end of this exercise, you'll end up with 8 files that will be template files. They'll all end in prt.dot with different names, and they'll all be stored in your custom folder called My Templates. And when you've done that, you're ready to move on. You could even go and create similar templates for assembly models and drawings, but we don't need those at this moment in time. Again, we will need the part ones though when we do top-down assembly modeling. So I hope you've enjoyed this short little video on how to create custom templates, and we'll be talking with you soon or answering questions via the blog post on Moodle. Have a great day.